What is going on, everyone? Welcome to the Round 9 AFLW Game Day Squad Show brought to you by the Game Day Society and AFL Fantasy Fanatics. I'm joined by Bales again. Bales, how was your week?
Yeah, not too bad. Piper Window being a laid out and Neve McLaughlin playing as the deepest forward, as the smallest player on the ground was a brilliant Saturday to sit down and watch some AFLW. But no, not too bad. Week wasn't too bad. How did we end up going? I'm just going to have a look at how we went. So in starter, where do we go? 31st for the week, so not too great. I find starters actually almost my worst one because I feel like I can manipulate the salary a little bit better in classic and challenger and champion and finish a bit better. Whereas I feel like starter, you can't, right? It's bronze, whatever scores you get is what you get. And if you get a couple of lower ones, but other people around you get some good ones, then that's going to cost you. So yeah, not as good in starter, but classic 16th, but most importantly, through to the next round of the GDS Classic Cup, which is very, very nice. 20th in Challenger and 16th in Champion. So a couple of little nice reward packs there. And unfortunately lost my lead in Classic, so down to second. So hopefully can reclaim that there. But how'd you go, mate? How was your weekend? How did you go?
Look, I thought I had a week to forget, to be honest, but similar to you, I've just snuck through in the cup, which I'm very happy about. Sorry to the team I knocked out because I know you were only a few points away. So it's a tight comp. It's a tough comp, but we move on.
Safe to say that you were messaging me throughout the weekend and saying, "No, I reckon I'm out of the cup and everything."
Yeah.
But you've made it, so it's good.
I was sure I was out, and because we'll probably talk about it a bit later, but I had in all my teams, I had Conti, apart from Classic where I picked Hoare because I had the All-Star card, and that was literally the worst decision I could have made. So came through in the end but we got to switch on now because we're getting to the pointy end where I think there's even All-Star cards on the line this round. So it's
people in the Classic Cup. I don't even know how many coaches are left in the cup. I'll have a quick look as I'm speaking, but it's whoever wins the matchups this weekend will get an All-Star card once it finishes. So we've got 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16 coaches, round of 16. For those soccer fans long at home, we're into the round of 16 now. So the 8 winners will get an All-Star card. So hopefully that is both of us.
Yeah, hopefully. I'm looking forward to the day. I don't know how the framing lines up, but if we're in the final together, that would be huge.
I've sort of been waiting to see me matched up against Bauer Power at some point. I'm just like, nope, someone else is good. Don't have to deal with you just yet. So hopefully that's the final. But I guess we'll have to see, right? And how'd you go in the other comps?
In the other comp, so again, not the best week in terms of weekly ranking. So I came 26th in starter, but I've somehow managed to hang on to top spot still. So I just need to focus now and not make any kind of controversial picks, I think, and just, lock it until the end of the season and make everyone else make the mistakes. Challenger, 22nd, I think it was, and champion was somewhere in the top 20, but nowhere, not near the money. So
yeah, you were going to say something as well just before I cut you off. Before you're going to say something about the cup.
If the week that we both might line up in the cup, I feel like we need to get Tom on to be like a mediator in the show just to make sure that we're not giving out, fake advice to each other or something like that. Because now I'm like round of 16, I'm like invested so heavily that I'm potentially just going to drop all thoughts on every other sport just to make sure that one side is perfect.
Yeah.
But anyway, even perfect sides lose, so we'll see. Now we'll jump through to our takes of the week. It was a bit of an interesting one with lots of kind of ups and downs, which probably affected a lot of people's scoring. Conti turning it on was just... Did you watch that game?
No, thankfully. I was because I got to once a Sunday every month. I go down to local pub, have some chicken wings, and a bowl of chips, and watch UFC pay-per-view. So there was a screen there. I was watching the UFC and the AFLW sort of there, but I wasn't watching it as intently as what I normally do, which is I
Mm.
was very thankful. But I was keeping track on scores and everything like that, and saw the highlights. And Monconti's obviously a star, and she was brilliant. Won the MVP for the vote that I do every week on the Instagram for the MVP. I think rightly so. She was the top scorer for the week, and I think this opens up a bit of another sort of probably round 8 review is that the Adelaide Crows continue to give up bulk points to the star midfielder of the other team. So West Coast this week, we know they've got a star in the midfield, Ella Roberts. So we'll chat about her when we get to that game, but it's something to be looking out for this week. But Moncon, obviously a star.
Exactly. Laid out, we've already touched on it, but laid out meant that Woodland actually was a good pick last week. Did you catch the out and did you swap her in, or did you just catch it and not change?
Yeah, I caught it. I probably should have put her in, but I was fairly happy with the forward line that was there, and a few had been locked out already, so I was like, no, I won't worry about changing it. But it was obviously frustrating as someone that had looked at Woodland and thought, no, Window's going to be in and they're going to split the role like they did the week before, and then Window being out just meant Woodland could take all that role. So she was great. Didn't get the ball as much, but her tackles and everything was good. So if Window does come back this week, it'd be interesting to see what happens along with the tougher matchup against Brisbane.
Yeah. Next point here, like I know the answer, but it's Zippy Fish selectable at M6. Like obviously the first 5 midfields are like pretty much locked in, but that 6th spot is the one that we're talking about every week. Zippy Fish put up a 144 last week and has gone over 100 points all but 3 games so far this season. For a first-year player, that's incredible. Do you think that she's kind of, towards the end of the season, has locked into what AFLW standards are and is ready to kind of hit those 140 scores ongoing? Or do you think it was maybe the matchup that... Well, it wasn't even the easy matchup.
No, it's not. It was North Melbourne. So,
yeah.
Look, right. She is selectable, right? Because you can do what you want, right? But I probably wouldn't be putting her at M6. But in saying that, I think we've talked about her and Centra. I think that they're clearly the top 2 dynasty assets. And I feel like Zippy Fish is going to be, I'm trying to think of like more playable and more like popularly selected amongst people's teams from next season. Because in GameDay squad, she can be available as a defender. Like there's no ifs or buts. She played defense all year and she'll be a defender next year. And if you're looking at it, she's averaging 103.3 points this season, which is outrageous for a first-year player, right? Just showing how good of a talent she is. But if you were to look at the other defenders and look at the averages of those players, she would be only behind Tilly Lucas-Rod for averages. So that's ahead of the likes of Maeve Chaplin, Serene Watson. I know Maddie Gay's only played a game, but all defenders, she'd be the number 2 defender, which is ridiculous for a first-year player and someone that it's just a shame that she's a mid, right? If she was a defender, she'd be talked about every show.
Yeah.
And it'd be fantastic because not only got the best name in all of sport, it would just be great.
She'd almost not be talked about, like how we don't really talk about Tilly Lucas-Rod anymore because they're a lock. Like she's going that good that it's just crazy. Like with GameDay squad being a dynasty platform, I feel like AFLW in the last couple of years has kind of taken advantage of that the most because we're seeing all these young, players coming through, and now that they've had like quality football through their childhood upbringing, whereas at the start, like because the women's football was pretty underfunded, undersupported, these like guns that we have today started out with nothing. So like for Zippy Fish, Centra in season 1 to be doing this, like what can they be doing down the track? It's crazy.
I was in a great spot. And before we get on the next point, you got, as you said, Fish, Centra, like even Lucia Payne, who was injured for a couple of weeks, looks great. Even Goldsworthy, Roberts, like there's so many that I can't even name like now that just they're going to be stars of the comp. And if that's what's coming through now and they're in their first year, just imagine what it's going to look like in 3, 4, 5 years time. Like we're going to have stars, like we already got stars running around already, but we're just going to have so many more. It's going to be frightening. So it's big, good times the AFLW.
Yeah, exactly. Next point, I don't know if you finally come around to this point, but I
Yeah,
think Wales is the clear number one now.
I said last week, I said that if Wales can outscore Strom, then I'd be putting her number R1, and she did. So I know it was close. It was a good matchup, good to watch. But Wales, yeah, clear number one. When I say clear, I mean it's clear that she is now the number one. She's not like number one then cleared to next, because Strom's still there, still got a few others. But yes, I do think that Wales is now the without a doubt, she's number one, and don't know if she's going to give that up because she's looking very, very good.
Yeah, I think the main thing I took from that matchup is that Strom is a clear number 2 ahead of number 3, probably, unless Schultz has a good matchup, and then I'll chuck her in. But I think those two are just basically set and forget for the rest of the season now. I've tried to play around a bit and try and beat the system, but it's always costing me points.
No, agree. And then last one, Courtney Hodder. Geez, that was a good bloody performance, and she didn't even play that much midfield either. She was mainly forward and just was dynamic forward. Just reminded me very much of like Cozzy Pickett in the men's, just dominating, getting plenty of the ball, plenty of tackles, kicking goals. They've still got a few good matchups to come. I think she's going to be someone that's trying to think of the word, relied upon and featuring a lot in our squads.
Yeah, no, agreed. So for round 9, okay, I say this every week, but how are we round 9?
Month to go.
We'll jump straight into the game. So first up, we got Bulldogs versus Essendon. Anything you want to talk about for this one?
No, Maddie Gay. Maddie Gay is back, and she's going along very, very well. 70, what'd she get, 94 or something like that? 94, 93, something like that.
And that was after a pretty slow start as well.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say, right? She was on the bench, managed a bit in the first half, few bench stints, but then really got going in the second half. So I don't think there's any overthinking. You lock her in. She would have been the number one defender in my rankings pre-season before her injury. So, she's locked and loaded. Bonnie Toogood, I just think she's a lock as well. Every week, regardless of matchup, she gets into defence, plays around the ball, gets involved. I think that she's locked in. The Dogs, however, I don't. George Nanscorn's another one that I think in this matchup could go quite well. I know the matchup's a bit tougher, but that is taking into account all those tags from earlier in the year, so that could be something. But the Dogs do play a little bit like Port Adelaide, where they're low-scoring fantasy games. So probably wouldn't be putting a huge amount of players in. Maybe Gay and Toogood are probably the two, but for the Dogs, it's not really anyone I love per se, just because they are such a low-scoring fantasy team. They don't chip it around. They go forward. Like Brittany Goodneck could be someone in defence you take a stab at as a pod, but Edmonds isn't the ruck we're looking at the moment. Blackburn is a great player, but she can have these up and down games where you're not sure when the big score is going to come. Do you agree? And obviously Georgia Stathis is out for the season as well with an MCL. So are you agreeing?
That's what I was going to say. Yeah, with Georgia Stathis out, it probably makes those Essendon midfield Nasgowan even more tempting, because if they were to tag, it maybe would have gone to Prasparkas, but then that frees up Nasgowan to basically do whatever they want this game. So they're definitely someone who's cross my. Sorry,
you steering clear of the Dogs, like you're not looking at any Dogs. Yeah,
I think I've since Georgia Stathis has gone out, I think that's just been my mentality for the whole season, basically. But yeah, it's like Edmonds maybe, but like I said, I'm not taking any risks in the ruck anymore. There's no point.
Well, the ruck matchups on paper doesn't look too good either, so it's like minus 5 points. So, but then the Dogs ruck matchup is plus nearly 7 points, which is interesting for Alice Edmonds. But I honestly think it's too good. Maddie Gay, maybe Nanscorn, and that's probably what you're looking at.
Yeah, I think I agree, and touch on it a bit later, but Nanscorn probably doesn't make it in based on the other matchups outside of the kind of set and forget. But
I think
definitely on your radar if you have a good rarity card, because they definitely have that ceiling this week.
Yeah.
We'll push on to the next one, which is Adelaide West Coast. So this is a game we're probably talking about earlier, but Ella Roberts, I think we'll have a big game this week. Looking at that Adelaide midfield matchup, we've seen some of the biggest scores the midfielders scored against this Adelaide midfield. there's just so many like green ticks in this one for me.
Yeah, she's in for me as well. Yeah, I'll just read your chat. You used to ask if my channel was.
Oh no,
yes, it is. Yes, it is. Don't
okay.
know if that was an old message. Just popped up on my screen, so that was interesting while I was chatting. But there you go. Yes, now Ella Roberts, great option this week against the Crows, who have been giving up big scores. However, slight flag. I'll do a bit of a flag here because I see Mel just put in there. Ella Roberts has to be an insta-lock this week. I agree at the moment, but if Chelsea Randall is back in this week, there's a little flag and a part of me that thinks, because West Coast are a dangerous team, right? I think they've won 5 of their 8 games. So they're going along well and they're around the top 8. If Chelsea Randall's back, I could see Randall playing a bit of a negative role on Ella Roberts, because if you're at LA coaching stuff, you know that the star mids are the ones getting it done. Like Mon Conti ran around last week, really unopposed with no one around her. And like Roe Bottom did well when they played, but the Crows won. Laura Gardner did well, but the Crows won. But now the Crows have lost to a team they shouldn't have lost to, even though Richmond were very good. I think the Crows are going to do some homework, and they're probably not going to allow this to continue happening week in, week out. In saying that, I've still currently got Roberts sitting there. I just wonder if Randall's back in, if she plays a negating role. Is that something that you have thought about, or something that maybe you might think about and you're a little bit nervous maybe of? Or
Yeah, spot on. Like Adelaide, obviously they've been focusing a lot on their midfield, it feels like. So they're kind of just letting the other midfield do what they want. And like most of the time it kind of works. But now that they've lost that game to Richmond, I think they're probably going to have to kind of knuckle down a bit. I haven't actually looked at the table for a little bit. Are Adelaide in? Where are they?
Still top 8, but I think it's like 6th or 7th. So they dropped a few spots last week. So something to look at. But that sort of ties in my point. I want to get your thoughts on this is, if Chelsea Randall's back and if she is to play a negating role on Ella Roberts, is that a bit of a flag for Sarah Goodwin in the midfield?
Does that mean question for you? So
yeah, I was going to say that, because like thinking, well, if Randall's back, does that mean Hatchard plays more midfield? Does Randall play a negating role? Are you a little bit worried about that?
I'm a little bit worried, but I still like I'm still playing her, I think, this week. But I think it is definitely a worry whether Randall Hatchard just plays a lot more forward, like because of the change, and then it doesn't affect Goodwin as much. I don't know. Yeah, it's definitely something that's crossed my mind. Are you starting her?
It was her and another player that I was looking at, and I'm sort of still tinkering around with the team at the moment. But yeah, Goodwin's sitting in there for me at the moment. It is a worry for me this week with that possibility that she does go into defence, but at the moment, I think the matchup's still good. I think that she'll still play some midfield at least. She still looked good in there, right? She's still playing well, getting plenty of the ball and helping out. It just, I guess the worry is that if that role does decrease a little bit, does that mean that her points she's not going to have as high a floor as what she has?
Yeah, and looking at those numbers versus West Coast defenders against West Coast, it's a negative 6.58. So that would be a negative 6.58 on her defensive average as well, as opposed to her midfield minute average. So there is a potential for this to go quite badly if it goes wrong. But I think it's still worth a punt, because, a lot of people took a punt on McLaughlin last week. A lot of people were burnt, but then they still finished out all right because everything else went okay. So it's a risk that has a lot of upside, but there is that big downside too. Yeah. So in saying that, I don't know.
Yeah, exactly. And then obviously Noffy is obviously locked in. But the other player that you've got on the screen there that's been playing really well of late is Lauren Wackfer. So just I wouldn't be playing her this week, not against Jess Allen. It's obviously very, very difficult matchup. But I'd just be keeping an eye on Lauren Wackfer, because you're looking at a ruck that maybe, Mark, that you like playing around with the rucks and looking for matchups. If Lauren Wackfer's got a good matchup, she could be someone that you do look at targeting, because you look at average of 64.1 isn't great, but her last 3, she's gone 80, 99, and 117. So just someone to maybe you pick up off transfer market. Maybe people haven't listed up for too much, but someone to stash away, because feel like she could arguably be the West Coast #1 ruck, like the way she's been performing. I think she's been better than Lakai and Liz McGrath's been injured, but I hope they do persist because she's looked really, really good. So just someone to keep an eye on.
Could be one for next year, possibly, if you can stock up now.
Yeah, and then Charlie Thomas, the final one before we move on, is I do like this matchup for Charlie Thomas against the Crows. So she hasn't had those ceiling scores yet, but I wouldn't be shocked if in a game like this she could actually put up her highest score of the season. I don't think she's turned up just yet, but I wouldn't be shocked if she could do something like that because we know that she takes all the kick-ins and can really get heavily involved. And just getting up her score from last year against the Crows. No, sorry, not last year, a couple of years ago in 2023. She scored, an 85. So I think she can definitely do that again. If not, I think she can even go 90 plus. So I'm still liking Charlie Thomas this week, but a few people might be scared away from the fact she hasn't put up any big scores. So you might not get hurt even if you don't play her.
Yep. No, fair. And we do have a comment here from Grant saying, don't forget to spin the wheel. I'm glad you guys are all here for the fantasy insight. But don't worry, we haven't forgotten. But I did forget to announce it at the start. So thank you, Grant. As always, we're going to spin the wheel at the end of the episode. Rather than giving away cards that we open in packs, I've decided I'm just going to give away the pack codes because,
oh, boo.
I know, but there's so much disappointment at the end of every episode.
But the thing is, there's disappointment, right? But then there's also the feeling of like, yes, I still think we should open packs. I don't know if you can change it or whatever, but I still think it's better to open packs because we get the rush of opening packs because you pack a legend on stream, then great. Like people are like some might get a legend and everything like that.
What? So you've convinced me. We're doing that.
Yep. Yes.
That was easy. So yep, we're gonna open some packs on stream instead. Thanks to Bales. So yeah, all you have to do is get in the chat, ask questions, answer questions, get involved. We're going to cut off entries by the end of the team summaries or the round summaries, game summaries. And then after that, we'll compile the list, get in the wheel, and we'll see who packs the legend this week.
Yeah.
But we'll jump on to the next one. We have Geelong and GWS. Now,
still sitting that bright green.
I know, that's the thing that we always look at every week.
So you're playing Irish O'Dowd this week?
Well, that's the thing. This is the matchup I've pretty much targeted every week. I've gone a silly ruck move. I did it last week with who was it? Harrington.
Yeah. So you're not doing it this week?
I'm not doing it this
week.
Okay.
Everyone that's watching, chuck in O'Dowd. She's going 140. Like it's going to happen. The week that Mark doesn't do the matchup is when O'Dowd's actually going to go big and Mark's going to be punished for it, unfortunately.
Yeah, whoever I'm playing in the cup this week, I would recommend going O'Dowd. No. But other than that, Goldsworthy's been like consistently good. I had doubts at the start of the season, which was stupid of me.
Oh no, it's not stupid. Trust me. It's the coaching staff there. I think we've spoken about this on even our top pot I do with Tom on Sundays, that Giants and St Kilda are the two clubs that you can't really trust when it comes to roles unless it's one of the players like a Jesse Wardlaw. They're playing forward. Serene Watts. Well, even Serene Watts went to the CBAs a couple weeks ago.
Yeah.
And then obviously
for a bit as well.
Yeah, I know. It's very, very interesting. And then like St Kilda obviously changing. Sorry, not St Kilda. GI's changing everything. And I think I'm even going to throw Gold Coast into that mix as well because we'll get onto that later on. But
that's right. Super Pies are the team I'm playing this week in the cup. So thanks, Melissa, for making sure that Jonty's all over the great calls that we're making here.
There's some ganging up on you, mate. They're trying to get you knocked out.
Hey, that's fine. Bring it on. Now, with the, other forward, well, I guess Goldsworth is not so much a forward, but the forwards at GWS, we've seen Evans, we've seen Garnett kind of doing inconsistently all right. How do you see them going against Geelong?
I think Goldsworthy's in. I think you can consider McCormick, but outside of that, I'm probably not looking at many other Giants players. O'Dowd, you can definitely look at this week with the matchup. I just like Evans, Garnett, Beeson, like they're just not scoring enough or consistently enough to warrant really considering them. So I think I'm probably more looking at Geelong in this matchup, and I'm probably not. I probably don't actually generally love this matchup for either. I could see this being a low-scoring fantasy game. Like I'm a big fan of Ash Maloney, and she's got a great floor, and she's currently sitting there as we speak. But I may change by the end because I do like another couple of forwards in a good matchup. And McCormick went to Wardlaw last week, and they cancelled each other out. I wouldn't be shocked if that happened again. McCormick's a good athlete, can stay definitely with Maloney. Worries me a little bit if that is going to be the matchup, which I anticipate it will. Does that keep Maloney a bit more quiet? I can't see her scoring 4 or 5 goals against McCormick to have a good score. And then Georgie Prasparkas is just not. She's an amazing player, and it's just not translating to fantasy at the moment. She's not racking up like the 10 tackles that we're seeing. Even like Mon Conti was this. What Georgie Prasparkas is now is what Mon Conti was 3-4 years ago. Like really, really good player, but didn't quite have that level in terms of fantasy production to go big. I felt Georgie Prasparkas is stuck with that at the moment. She's not marking it. She's not tackling as much. I think she's still very young, right? She's still early 20s. She's gonna be an absolute star for fantasy as well at some point. She's gonna mark it. She's gonna tackle. I just don't think at the moment. Plus Beck Beeson will probably go to her, so I'm probably not looking at G Prez this week. Are you like anyone else in this matchup that you're looking at? Are you worried about the Maloney sort of pick? Could you go Jackie Parry instead potentially?
Well, you could. That's the question I have every week: is do you go? Well, since probably round 5 or 6 or whenever Parry started kind of becoming at the front of our minds. What surprised me about this matchup is GWS have a negative in every position against them. When they're a team that used to be you just consider a team that you'd kind of just be able to score freely against because they're like struggling. But it seems to be like a tight matchup. So Prasparkas has been struggling to kind of convert the good play into points. So I think for this season, I'm just staying away for now. Maloney, like you said, great floor. So that they would probably be the person I would consider, but I don't think I have them in my side this week, just because of some other options.
Yeah, but like as you said, right? Like you look at the Giants matchup. The only St Kilda players that scored well last week was Jamie Lambert and Georgia Patrikios, but we don't have either of them in our squads. We haven't had them much this year. Then you're going to the West Coast game. It was just Ella Roberts who had an amazing first half, but slowed down with an elbow injury there. And like Kelly Gibson, Lauren Wackford was good. Jade Britton, a few others like Courtney Rowley were good, but we're not really touching many of those there. And then the only other one I was going to go through just the last 3 was the Sydney game. Morphet was good, but obviously an amazing matchup against. And it's funny that the ruck matchup against GWS is tough because we feel like I felt the good ruckmen score well, but the others sort of break even, and that's why it's a negative there. But like Morphet was good. Like Laura Gardner was solid, but she had a little bit of attention from Beeson. And then Tanya Kennedy were good. Even Zippy Fish was down. So yeah, as you say, it feels like they're low-scoring fantasy games, or the ones that go well are the ones that we don't actually have in our squads.
Yeah, and the other thing as well, you saw how Wardlaw went last week, or against GWS.
That's my worry.
That's the kind of thing that will translate. So yeah, I think I'm just steering clear of the fact everyone apart from Goldsworthy in this game.
Yeah,
just because Goldsworthy's never leaving my side anymore.
Yep, no, I think she's a lock.
That's right. We'll push forward to Hawthorn and Gold Coast. And we had a question at the very start, which I want to go back to, which you can probably guess what it is. But do you trust McLaughlin to bounce back after a few poor scores in a row?
No. Not her fault. Love Neve, great player. Reshaw, what are you doing? Like, this is what are we? Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, 4 days removed from when this happened. I still cannot fathom, like through my head, what Reshaw was thinking there. The smallest player at Gold Coast, the co-captain, played really, really well in defence, and then was a really good spark in the midfield in that last quarter against Port, and then played a couple of weeks in the midfield. Whitford went off injured the week before after quarter time, and she played midfield. And they go, nah, let's chuck her as the key forward. Let's put a deep forward against Brie Conan and the like of that. Like, I'm mind blown. Like, couldn't believe what I was watching. I was like, she was so bad in the first quarter. I was like, okay, she'll be moved. Second quarter, nothing happened. I'm like, okay, halftime, 20-minute break, they'll adjust it. No, didn't adjust it. And it went the whole game. I don't know why I kept watching. It's an embarrassing call to be fair. Like, even just from a football point of view, it just doesn't make any sense at all. So I'm not trusting. I'm not trusting
of tanking, like almost like Gold Coast are probably doing a bit better than they were expecting and just needed to throw away some points.
I don't even know what it was, but like they played Gervin as well forward for the first quarter, but they moved her back. So I'm not trusting Gold Coast enough to put her into my squad this week because of that reason. And I think I saw it training as well. She actually had a compression sleeve on her calf. So that's another bit of a flag as to why I'm fading. And
maybe was that maybe why she was up forward then? Maybe she had that going into that
she was still sprinting around running. I can't imagine that was why. It looked like it was a tactical decision to me. It could have been, but yeah, I'm not trusting her. I'm not trusting Gold Coast with anyone. Like Charlie Rowbottom is the only one I contemplate. You definitely could because the matchup against Hawthorn have given up some good scores to mids, but I do think we've got other options in the mids that have got high ceilings, I think, at the moment. So I don't know about you, but I'm just probably crossing a bit like dogs, just crossing Gold Coast off. Yeah. And Mel, you are correct. I'm not a fan of Shaw's coaching so far this season because that was not a good call. Sure, I'm sure not the only one. Like it just didn't make any sense to me. But Hawthorn is where I'm looking at, and I think we had a question from Corey Blackledge earlier. I don't know if you see that one there, Mark, and you want to chuck it up on the screen. But I want to ask you this: who's the better forward option, Bodie, Gilroy, Stone, or McDonough? Like, realistically, this reminds me of Geelong in the men's, where me and Tom spoke about this heaps. That you could play Manor, Myers, Baz, and Jeremy Cameron all in the same matchup. Could you play all four in this matchup, Mark?
Oh, geez, it'd be tough. I like Bodie this week going in, but that's based on nothing. Maybe based on last week. I think Bodie was the better out of the four.
Yeah, I've actually got Gilroy sitting there at the moment.
Yeah, okay. I mean, equally good. Like any of these would be equally good picks, and someone's going to be disappointed, someone's going to be happy, someone's going to be very happy. It's got that feeling where one will go 40, a few will go 80, and then one will go like 120.
Like you can definitely play. I think you can play all four. I think it's not. I don't think it's crazy. You look at the matchup, plus nearly 12 points for forwards and plus over 8 points for mids. Right, Bodie plays forward. I could see Bodie having a good day here, and she's someone that I've definitely considered. There, I think Gilroy's a good option. I think she. Obviously coming back from injury, but she came back in to a little bit into the midfield last couple of weeks. And last week she was good in the second half particularly and got involved. So I could see Gilroy really cashing in here. Laura Stone, I've been a fan of in the other formats of AFLW fantasy. And I think in GameDay squad, she's relevant this week as a forward for us. Full-time mid last week, when she was on the ground, I think she was 78% game time, which is better than what she had been playing. She was in the midfield. So pure midfield role, could definitely look there. And then McDonough's again, like the key forward there that could cash in as well. So I think that all four are options, and I think any one of them could have a pop score this week. So yeah, I've currently got Gilroy sitting there as my favourite, but Bodie again's got a great ceiling. McDonough, Stone, I like all of them. So have you got just one there at the moment, Mark, or? You're on mute, I think, at the moment.
I am because my dog is barking in the background. I just had a crazy thought, and I've just adjusted my spreadsheet, and it actually has brought out something concerning. Is that for the last 5 rounds, forwards actually go negative against Gold Coast, which is crazy.
Interesting.
So they've obviously, started off very sluggish, but the last 5 rounds, I think I did put in. Hang on.
Because we saw Courtney Hodder was obviously amazing last week. Taylor Smith had a pretty good game as well. So if you went there as a bit of a pod, she was probably did we mention her as a pod, Taylor Smith, last week? I think I might have. I don't know if I mentioned her or not. I think I might have, but I'm not sure. But she was she was good for a decent score. I'm just having a look at the other Brisbane forwards last week. Hodder was good. Sophie Commonwealth has a bit of forward, bit of mid, a little bit like Bodie in a way. Probably a bit more forward for Bodie, but she was good. Conway. So I think that there is scope that all of them can do well. But no, it's interesting that the matchup doesn't look as good. Even I guess you look at the Melbourne forwards. However, the week before, Zanka was poor. Harris was pretty good. I'm looking here. Wotherspoon was really good. So it's an interesting one. I feel like maybe two of these forwards are going to go well. Two of them are going to go really bad. So which couple do you pick? It's a really interesting
it is
one.
tricky. And one thing that's really, I mean, probably not super relevant because we're all picking Wales anyway, likely, but the ruck matchup gets a lot better in the last 5 rounds.
That's with Taylor Gregory playing. So if Lauren Bella's in, it'll be a bit trickier, but I think Wales scored well against Strom last week, so I think that she can score well against anyone. But yeah, great. I think if it's Gregory, geez, Lucy Wales could go absolutely massive this week.
Yeah. And then we'll jump through to the next one. I've got a question about which rucks are we going for this week. Maybe we'll answer that at the end when we reveal our squads. But jump through to Brisbane Port. So this is these two teams had ups and downs for us last week. We had Hodder absolutely smashing it. Saint or Woodland just doing well, but unfortunately, probably most people didn't pick her last week because of the question mark with Window.
Yeah.
Do you have a strategy for this week for that kind of tricky pick?
Yeah, I think I'm probably fading anyway. I just don't love the matchup against Brisbane. And I know Brisbane, so they're negative on every matchup, right? But there's no like standout negative. Like there's -4 for defenders, mids, and forwards. -1. Rucks is nearly breaking even. If Window's back, I think it's even more of a case of you're not going there. But I just think it's a concerning enough matchup that I do like a few other forwards this week. Like we've mentioned the Hawthorn forwards. We've even got Courtney Hodder in this game, who I'm a big fan of. Playing this week in another good matchup, so I'm probably fading.
Yeah, I have her in currently. Obviously, this is all pending kind of teams. What we do if Window's in, it's a no from me. If she's in, if she's out and if she's a late in, or there's any kind of changes or anything like that, then I think my backup will be unfortunately dropping to Wardlaw. So it's a bit of a punt.
How dare you say unfortunately dropping to Wardlaw? She was obviously a bit poor last week, but she's been pretty good. So
yeah, that's fair. I have a very short-term memory, you might have noticed with a lot of these decisions I make them with my heart.
The mid matchup though is very good. Plus nearly 10 points for Port. Ali Anderson, you're looking there this week potentially.
Oh, it's hard to do just because
Ella
the
Roberts
matchup is that's it. The
so
Roberts matchup is really good.
Let's say we hear something from Doc Clark in the Thursday presser or something or whatever, and they say, like Chelsea's back in, we're going to be playing a bit of a run with roll with Ella Roberts. She's obviously a star. What if you hear something like that? I don't know if we will. Don't think we will. But if we did, would that be enough to swap it over to Ali Anderson or potentially another midfielder?
I think it'd be enough to swap it out, but I think it would probably be a Conti maybe over a Anderson, just purely on form.
Yeah.
I
think I agree. I just think this is probably something that a few coaches may consider with teams.
This is probably one of those picks where, if you're sitting just outside the 10, just outside of prize cards, you're having to start taking risks now because we're at the tail end of the season. This is one that could work out well for you because we know that in the past, Anderson's hit those 200 scores. Like it was last season, I think it was, or the year before, 200 maybe twice in a season or something crazy. Like she has that ceiling. So it's one that could definitely pay off if you're needing to kind of take a risk.
Yeah. So something I'm looking at. Yeah, for sure. The Brisbane defenders, though, I don't know. It feels like one week one person will have a good game. Next week, the other will have a good game. Like Ellinger was great last week, and she's probably my pick. But like we saw Brie Conan, her worst score of the season last week, just worries me that she's playing so much defense now. She's not really playing any midfield time. Ellinger has, like the week before, she had like a 50. Like she's been a little bit up and down. Are you steering clear of these Brisbane defenders as well, just because anyone can go off at any given week because they're so good that you're just not playing any and just sort of fading?
Yeah, and I think with like Gay coming back into like consideration, there's less slots in that, less like opportunities to bring her in now. So I'm just kind of ignoring the Brisbane defense because I feel like I'll just get it wrong. So
Yeah.
and if you get it right, it's still like 100-point score. It's not like 140-point score. So I think there's the negatives outweigh the risk for me on that one.
Yeah. And Mel also put in a very good point about Jessie Warthorpe there about having a bad week last week, which in recent times means she's going to have a good week this week. No, and Mel, you are on a very good point there, because if you look at the scores, 83 good, 39 bad, 105 good, 39 bad, 128 good, 71 bad, 113 good, 48 bad. It is unbelievable that she's had.
That is, as a St Kilda supporter, that is a classic St Kilda roller coaster right there.
And 71, and when I say 71 is probably the one that's like not really that bad, but when you look at the other scores around it, it's quite funny that it literally is a roller coaster. So yeah, this week, Collingwood, get her in.
All right. Well, thanks to Mel. Maybe I will just drop Saint or Woodland altogether and just stick with it, and then I don't have to stress about the ins outs if I miss something.
Matilda
Especially because
Schultz was the only other one we probably didn't touch on.
True.
Matchup's a break-even matchup.
Mm-hmm. I like her as like a bully ruck where, the matchup is an easy matchup and they'll just come in and absolutely tear it up. I think in these like tighter matchups, she's probably still go like decent 100 scores, but with Strom and Wales kind of looking as good as they are, I can't see.
Yeah, Schultz is probably someone I should have said as well, with all those dynasty assets, all those star players coming through. Like, she's still so young as a ruck, and she's doing this already now, so she's gonna keep going. And yes, Mel, I know I did call her 71 bad, and it's not that bad when you look at it, but when you look at the 200s on the other side of it, either side, that probably makes it a little bit bad. So just in context, we'll say it's a bad score to keep up the roller coaster.
Exactly. So I'm just trying to think if there's anyone else on that. I think that's basically it. Yeah. So next up, Richmond and North Melbourne. This is the reason I don't have Conti ahead of Roberts, like automatically, because of the matchup. We saw that it didn't necessarily affect some of the Sydney mids too much, but I just worry that, Richmond's going to struggle this game. They did all right last week, but...
Thanks, mate. Yeah, it was good. Yeah, not. I think Conti will still go fairly well here. I think that she's still such a good player that she's going to go well. She had a couple of lower scores a few weeks ago, but North Melbourne, they're going to bat their system in. They don't really tag. They're not going to tag, I don't think, here. I think it was last year. Mon Conti had 35 touches and what I'm just trying to get, like essentially 150 against North Melbourne last year. The year before, she had a lower score, but really it's been since 2022 she last played them before that. So really, when Mon Con's been one of those stars that we're looking at week in, week out fantasy, she had a really good score against North Melbourne when North Melbourne was still going really well. So you can definitely play her here. And she's someone that if I hear anything about maybe Roberts is going to get some attention, I agree. I think Conti's the one I'll be shifting to, because she plays after Roberts, which is also good.
Yeah, and this is a struggle I have every week when I make these slides. Who do I put as a second Richmond card? Because
it is Ellie McKenzie. Yeah, definitely is Ellie McKenzie, I think.
But is it someone you would consider?
No, not in the midfield, unfortunately. If she got, I know she's taken some kick-ins and played a little bit off cross halfback. If she was somehow a defender in fantasy, definitely I'd be looking at it a lot closer. But as a mid, she's a very good player, but again, not quite that fantasy impact just yet. A little bit like we talked about with Georgie Prasparkas. So maybe at some point, but not for the moment. But North Melbourne,
Yeah.
But look, it's not boring, right? Because I love watching North Melbourne play just as a neutral fan, like they dominate. But in terms of fantasy, it's just we just lock the same in: Garner, Riddell, and Carney. And
Well, that last one I was going to ask you about, because if you look at purely the numbers, so since the first 2 rounds she played, so she played round 3, round 4, went 99, 115. We're like, yep, sweet, lock her in every week. Since then, 71, 84, good, 39, 74, decent
the,
scores, but is that enough?
yes, yeah,
Okay.
because that 39 that she had she was tagged by Vicar. No, hang on, sorry, I'm trying now. No, Vic is for Carlton. I'm just going to get her name from Essendon. Played a defensive forward role on her. Brooker, thank you. Brooker played a defensive role on her and kept her to a low score. So that was why that was the case. So I'm confident that was just an outlier. She's got a pretty good floor. Besides that, takes all the kick-ins and is there. And Richmond a good matchup for defenders. Albeit, I don't think Carney's going 100, 110 this week, like in a big score in a good matchup, because I think that North Melbourne, you would assume, would be up by enough. Last quarter, 7 minutes to go. I think Carney will do the usual, come off, rest the last 7 minutes, and that'll be it. So that's my worry, but I still think she'll put up a good score.
Yeah, I'm just looking like 3-game average, 5-game averages. She's not even close to the top 6 or 7 defenders, though. Is the problem?
That's because within the last 3,
Yeah, no, you're right.
that
That's
39,
fair.
and then the last 5 that's 39 is also included.
No, that's
Skews
absolutely
that number a
fair.
little bit. So I
Yeah.
hope people are looking at your stats and they don't play her, because I think she'll still go fairly well. But I feel like you can fade. She's going to rest a bit in this game if we assume that they're going to be up by a bit against Richmond. Then maybe you look to pivot to someone that could pop a 100, 110 this week. But I'm pretty confident Carney will go well. Then I'm putting her in.
Yeah, okay. No, that's fair. I think at the moment I have faded her, but I'm trying to stick to safe decisions, so I'll probably will be talked around pretty easily.
Yeah.
Yeah, but other than that, like
It's probably it, I think,
forwards,
because
yeah.
like North Melbourne forwards, like they all share it around. Like the forward you could play this week, actually. She had a bit of a flaw last couple of weeks, but Blaine Bowe could be someone that kicks 3 or 4 here and goes well. But again, I just think there's upside in other forwards this week that I think I'm probably going there. But if you want to stab at someone, then could be Blaine Bowe, because she's been outstanding in her first full year of playing. Like, she was drafted last year and didn't get any games, but this year's been great. Did you see that ankle breaker as well that she did on? I think it was Brenna Tarrant.
No.
She marked it, played on. She did, like, because she's so quick and her side steps are great. Like, Brenna Tarrant essentially did the splits, and it looked bad. Like, if that was a guy doing that, we would have been absolutely screwed. But and yeah, I think Brent Tarrant Garden, she was fine, but it didn't look great on the replay. Unless you're a North fan, then you'd be pretty happy.
Yeah, no, sounds good. All right, we'll push on. We've got Sydney and Carlton next. The main thing I want to kind of start out asking you is those Sydney forwards that we started off so reliant on. They've kind of dropped off a bit in terms of the consistency, but they've still been okay. At what point do they not become locks, or are they not locks anymore?
They're not locks, but they're very good options every week. Like, Ham was still pretty good last week, and that was in the North matchup. Malloy was just very quiet because the ball wasn't there. I think Sydney couldn't have played any worse than they did, and that was due to North pressure. Like, they turned it over a fair bit. They looked like they were just panicked a little bit with their movement. And that may be why Zippy Fish had such a big game, is because she was the only one not panicking back there, which is crazy for a first-year player not doing that. And the fact that the ball was down there all the time. I think most weeks Sydney are a lot better than that. I know they've lost 4 in a row, which is concerning, but this is a matchup they need to try and get back on track with. Carlton, good opposition though. I think Malloy and Ham are still good options. I've still got them there. I don't think I'm moving off of them along with Laura Gardner. Are you agreeing?
Yeah, I think this matchup particularly is one where the risk is much lower than last week. Obviously, they'll see a lot more of the ball up forward. It'll still be a tough matchup, but it won't be like so heavily dominated by like such a quality side.
I just feel like like you said before, you didn't want to take any risks. I feel like that risk is taking one of them on because they're going to be so popular amongst everyone else that if they pop a big score, you're going to lose. Whereas I feel like if you'd put them in, you're probably not losing much anyway because their bad games are probably going to be around a lot of other forwards, solid enough games, and their good games are 120s and like big scores that you miss out on.
Yeah, and I almost feel like if you're playing one, you need to play both because you're playing them based on the matchup. And if the matchup's good enough to play one, it's good enough to play both.
So what I'm hearing is your forward line this week is going to be Goldsworthy, Malloy, Ham, Gilroy, Bodie, McDonough, Stone, and then someone else on the bench.
Not quite. I didn't go as heavy on the Hawthorn, but you started off very strong.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll get to that. But Carlton, there's so many almost selectable players here for me.
Dana Finn had another good game last week. It wasn't the 120 good, but still like was like what was it like
108, I think it was.
Yeah, nearly 110. Yeah. So Dana Finn's an option. You could potentially go there. But Carlton again are one of those other teams. They're playing really good footy, but again, there's not really a huge amount of play because like Mackay, Hill in the midfield, like the options, they sort of just share it around amongst themselves. If Ronnie Fitzpatrick was a forward in game day squad, she'd be someone we could talk about. But like Cordner, maybe in defence, but she's got a low floor. Like she relies a lot on intercepts. It worries me. Is there anyone from Carlton like Harrington sharing the ruck? Is there anyone from Carlton you're looking at? I just felt they're a very good team, but there's no player that besides maybe Dana Finn that you're really looking at starting week in, week out. And I've already said my reservations of starting Finn to begin with.
Yeah, like looking at the Carlton numbers as a whole, they're a team where like basically every week they have like 4 or 5 people who score above 100, but then they have no one who scores above 110 or like 120 apart from maybe Finn. So they're always about, and there's a lot of people who are like sharing the points to get decent scores, but they're all the mids. Like there's not the forwards that are kind of getting in on that or the defenders. So it's unfortunately one where it's, they're doing great, but it's not helping us out as game day squad coaches. So I took a punt on Harrington last week, which I really shouldn't have with such a good matchup.
She started well. She had some points very, very early, but
kicked goal in the first 5 minutes or whatever, and then barely saw her after that. So still got me over the line, thankfully, but it was tight. But other than that, Carlton, I think, are a bit of you're looking for maybe a Finn as someone you're needing to kind of take a punt on to get ahead.
Cordner's the other one you could, as I said, but I just worry with that really low floor.
Yeah, no, that's fair. In terms of Sydney as well, did we talk about Morfitt? I don't think we did.
No, I don't think we talked about Morfitt. I feel like she's going really well, but I think Caitlin Reid was there last week and took a fair bit of ruck time, and Morfitt actually played forward and kicked a goal, I think, as well. That worries me. I want my rucks being even Lucy Wells the last few weeks has been playing 100% ruck time. Hasn't been there's been no Vukic or Simmons taking any centre bounce attendances. It's been all Lucy Wales, unless it's in I think sometimes if it's in the forward line, it'll be a Vukic or Simmons, and Lucy Wells will play that sort of loose behind the ball. Like Lucy Wells is playing a lot like Max Gorn this year, to be fair. That loose behind the ball, taking the set marks, but then running around the ground, getting plenty of the ball. Morfitt, if Reid got dropped, maybe that'd be something to consider. But I'm not sure.
Yeah, I think I said that it was like a 1-2 lock of Strom and Wales, and then Schultz. I think Morfitt probably sits in 4 now behind Schultz for me, just because there's what she can do.
But with Reid being there, backing up and taking a fair bit of ruck time, worries me with that ceiling.
100%. All right, push on to the second last game. Yep, second last game, St Kilda and Collingwood. Now, do you want to start with Woodler? Someone who I've probably shamed a bit too much this episode, unfortunately.
Well, the matchup on paper doesn't look particularly great, and I don't know if if Collingwood have got necessarily that, and yes, Mel, I do agree with that. That if you fade one of Malaya Ham, they're going to go big for sure. I think the worry for me with Wardlaw is that that lower score last week wasn't great, but McCormick's a good matchup for her. There's no one here in this matchup I've sort of seen go, yet they're going to be able to stop Wardlaw. And with Collingwood being banged up, you could see Wardlaw getting off the chain and going quite well like she did against Port. So I don't think she's currently sitting in my squad, but she's someone that I've actively been looking at to see if I can put in there. So yeah, that's my thoughts.
No, Wardlaw is always someone I don't have in my side, and then last minute I just bring her in because it seems like just a pretty safe option generally. Like, we know what she can do. She was like a leading goal scorer a couple of seasons. Like, before she came to St Kilda, she was a leading goal scorer. She is now that St Kilda's actually playing all right football as well. She's getting opportunities which she didn't have at those first few seasons at St Kilda. So I think she's getting enough opportunity to be able to score a decent score, and we know she can score a decent score. It's just sometimes she doesn't put that together, if that makes sense.
Yeah, and I'm looking at the defense here. So you have Geordie Allen, Lucy Cronin, Tani White, Lauren Butler, and Amber Schutt. You've got, so I'm just having a look. So the tallest defender is probably, would it be Lauren Butler at 100 or Lucy Cronin? No, Lucy Cronin at 178 centimeters. So she would be the player that you would imagine would go onto Jessie Wardlaw. But I'm just having a look here at because I don't know exactly what Jessie Wardlaw's height is. 185. So she's got a good sort of 7 centimeters on her, and McCormick's a little bit taller than Cronin, then a bit more experienced. That's my worry, that who's the matchup going to be for Wardlaw. So yeah, I think she's someone you can definitely look at starting. I think Serene Watson is someone I'm playing to, but they're probably the two from St Kilda.
Because that's the problem. There's such a good rock matchup, it looks like, there against Collingwood, but then when you play Ott, it's just not really the viable player to kind of take advantage of that. So
yeah, would you play Wardlaw over Parry this week?
I think I would. Yep. Yeah,
it's an interesting one. I would as well, but I think Parry could be a really good pod this week. If McCormick goes to Maloney, who's that other defender that's going to play on Parry? That'd be my question. Is that who's that taller defender? Because Giants have a very
sitting back a fair bit. I feel like I've seen Evans drop. Haven't I?
No, I don't think so. No, I think she dropped back once on the weekend.
It might have been the small pit I watched then, maybe.
Yeah, I think she dropped back once. But no, she's not playing in defence at the moment. So it's a good one. I think I'd go Wardlaw, but Parry's been great all year and could be someone that could be a real pod this week. So don't let me talk out of Parry if you're looking there.
Now Collingwood, probably the only one that we'd be looking at is Barnett, who I think this matchup's probably actually quite nice for them.
Yeah, agreed.
Yeah.
I'm probably I think she got injured towards the end of the game last week and she went off. I'm not sure exactly what happened, but she wasn't listed on injury report or anything. So I take it she's okay. She's sitting in my forward line. I didn't play her last week. I was a bit worried that Frederick took a fair bit of ruck time in the second half, and I was thinking, well, is that just a bit of a watch? But knowing that, I'll play Barnett this week, and then Frederick will play a lot more in the ruck there. That's just something to watch, but I think this is a great matchup for Barnett if she's all good to go and can take advantage of it.
Yeah. Anyone else from Collingwood there that you're considering?
No, I don't think so. Again, Centra still target on the transfer market as a dynasty asset, but probably not playing her. And Benici, again, is someone that's been a pod that we've looked at, but St Kilda a bad matchup for mid, so I wouldn't be looking there this week.
Yeah, no, fair. All right, we'll push on to the last one, and then we'll run through teams and rip some packs. Fremantle, the two pretty much, well, Bowers has just kind of been consistent, but then didn't have the best score, but still.
It wasn't a game that suited her last week. Very much a kicking game. I don't get me started on the fact that I think games like last Thursday, was it Thursday? Yeah, Thursday. That game should be played at Marvel Stadium. Like, I don't understand why they're playing so many games down at Frankston. I know it's where Hawthorn and that are, but I want to see these games at Marvel Stadium. I want to see good, fast, but like you watch the games at GMHBA and People First Stadium.
People First,
Like, okay,
yeah.
the players might turn over, but the conditions don't play a part in it unless it's raining, right? There's no real wind because the stadium infrastructure keeps out all of this blustery wind. And I know Frankston's down towards like you got the water and stuff like that, but it just didn't suit Bowles last week. Whereas this matchup, I think Bowles could go quite well at. I think she's an option. I think the question this week, though, looks at that ruck matchup for Melbourne.
Yeah.
Are you going to fade Strom on that, or do you think Strom's good enough to get it done regardless?
No, I think Strom's good enough to get it done. And like it might not be like it'll probably be like maybe a 110, 120, 130 kind of score. But I think I'm happy with that. This like for going forward the rest of the rounds, I'm happy with just taking whatever that score is.
Yeah.
What about you?
Yeah. She's in there as well. I'm putting her in and locking her away in the ruck because the week I don't play her, she'll go 130, 140. So she's in for me. On Melbourne's side, that forward matchup looks very, very nice. I don't know about you, but if I'm picking a forward, I'm going Taylor Harris.
That's what I'm. In fact, that may have been what I've done. I can't remember if that's my final version, but Zanka's just I can't trust her anymore.
Like Zank, this is a matchup again. I could see Zanka actually going well in and you could play her, but in terms of the actual role, Harris is playing as the backup ruck, playing a lot more CBAs. Took a couple of kick-ins as well. She's doing it all. So I think Harris for me is the one that I'm playing there. In saying that, I don't currently have her in my squad, but she's someone again I've looked at putting in. I may put in instead, which funny enough, that would be instead of a Gilroy, for example, because I like my other 6 I've got there.
Yeah, right. And yeah, Melissa, thanks in the chat. Reminding people, if you do want to get your name on the wheel, make sure you get involved in the chat. We're going to wrap it up after this one, but if you're pretty close, we'll let it slide. But yeah, the last person, I guess, well, not the last person, but one person that I wanted to talk about on that Melbourne side is Kate Hoare. For about 3 weeks, I had her in my head as a lock, where she just went like 140, 150, 160. And then since then, it's been not much at all. Is that just out of contention now for you? Or do you think the right matchup, she'll still come in and play? Or is it too much of a risk?
No, I don't think I'm playing her. I don't think at the moment. Like the matchup, it's not awful, but it's not great. It's just sort of middle of the road. I don't know. The thing with Kate Hoare is that you're relying on her to get mid-20s disposals, a lot of tackles, and a goal or 2 to put up that big ceiling score. You look at Riddell, she gets 40 touches a week because she breaks the all-time record. I feel like every second week it's ridiculous. But she gets 30, 35 touches a game. Noffy gets 15 tackles at least, and then she gets plenty of the ball. Garner kicks goals every week and kicks a goal somehow in the first 15 seconds of a quarter throughout the game, and gets plenty of the ball as well, gets tackles. I feel like Kate Hoare doesn't get enough of the ball, doesn't get enough tackles consistently, and then can't always kick 3 goals a week to get the consistency. So she's probably stuck in that 90 to 96, 97 most weeks. And then she'll pop up for the odd 130, 140 score when she does go a lot. But I don't know if she's going to be a consistent enough option unless the matchup is really, really good. If she was a forward in GameDay squad, she'd be like Goldsworthy, locked in. She's one of those in between that if she's another position, she'd be a lock, but she's not quite a lock in the mids.
And I don't, like for me, I don't think she's looking at getting that position switch next year either.
No, she plays too much midfield. She won't get.
Yeah, that's the thing. She's not doing enough. It always feels like it's easy to get pulled into the midfield when you're doing position swaps, but it's hard to get kind of taken back out. So it's just a tricky one. And then last one, those defenders. Heath injured now for the rest of the season, I think, or at least a few weeks.
Yeah, I think even before that, Maeve Chaplin was a lock to begin with. geez, I'll tell you what, I feel like she could be leading Melbourne's best and fairest at the moment. And I think that's like maybe Kate Hoare is, but Maeve Chaplin's been incredible. Like she's taken over that quarterback role for Melbourne like fantastically well. And even watching it last week, I thought that Brooker was going to actually go and do a role on Maeve Chaplin like she did the Cane the week before. I was a little bit worried, but she was just did everything. She just takes kicking, she gets marks, she gets tackled, she plays a couple of CBAs, like she does everything. She's great. I think she's a lock every week for the rest of the year. I think she's in that conversation with those top couple of defenders that you're not looking to move them on at all. So, lock her in. And
you did say that about Heath a few weeks ago, though, I think. So,
yeah, she was playing a prime midfield role, though.
Yeah.
And I thought that was going to stick, but then her role changed, whereas I feel like Chaplin's role won't change. Like, Heath was very good in the role, but was never really, you wouldn't say she was locked in. Whereas I feel like Maeve Chaplin's, this role is locked in. She's the quarterback. And that's what we're looking for these defenders. We want our defenders in fantasy to either be these quarterbacks or these midfielders, like a bit like what Goodwin's been doing. But we feel like the defenders that are playing midfield, they're not really, last few years in fantasy, they haven't been like locks. Like Sheeran was in the mids for Richmond back end of the year, but that was only later in the year. Goodwin's, it was because of a couple of injuries to go in there. Heath again, Purcell injured. So I feel like they're not really sort of sticking roles, whereas defenders have got that quarterback role, they're there and they're set.
Well, yeah, because those people that have the quarterback role, they're the best at their job in that club. The defenders who are pushing up to the midfield, they're like third, fourth, fifth line in the role they're trying to play, which is still great for us in a game day squad because they're pushing through like 100-point scores, but
they're not someone that's a lock every week. Yeah,
exactly. So I 100% agree on that. So yeah, she's a lock for me as well for the rest of the season until convinced otherwise.
Yep.
No one else for Fremantle is there. Bowers, Strom. That's pretty much the only two you'd be considering.
Yeah, I think that's it from that game. I reckon we're done.
I think that's it for the round. So what we'll do next is we'll talk about our pods, and not 100% sold on my pods this week, but we'll see how they go. First one, Harris, who I think could still be a pod, even though it's a very good matchup there. It probably shouldn't be a pod, given the quality of the player and the matchup. But because she hasn't been in our kind of rotation consistently, I think she'll slip a lot of people's minds. Next one, talked about again, Ali Anderson in the middle. Definitely a bit of a risky one with picking a pod midfielder just because you've got a lot more to lose than the other positions. Bodie is the one I've picked as the forward against Gold Coast there. On vibes. Not much else. Birch in defence. Libby Birch against Richmond, I think.
Yeah, don't mind that
be a good alternative to Carney.
Yeah.
And then the last one there I've got is probably don't do it, but potential to be like a decent alternative option. Maybe not the right week this week, though.
It's just a matchup. Yeah, just a matchup that I'm scared at. The other thing I'm also not scared at, but looking here is on your slide, mate. You've got 1, 2, 3, then a dot, 4, then a dot, 5. Where's the dot? Where's the consistency?
Oh no!
Are we going the full stops on all the numbers, or are we not doing the full stops on the numbers?
End the stream now.
I just thought that was quite funny. I do. No. I'm the person. I'll do notice that. I'll notice those little things there. So,
and that's why you're so good at fantasy sport, because you notice all the little details that probably slip through. So,
I appreciate that. Thank you. I would like to think I'm good, but I haven't been as successful as what I would have liked to have been. I feel like I can be taken over with some decisions from my heart, not my head. So, but yeah, in terms of my five pods, I don't have an official list on me, but the 5 I would have, I'd arguably have all 4 of the Hawthorn forwards, because I felt they're all going to be pods because people are going to go in different ways, or there's been other forwards that are there. So I'd probably say, Bodie, McDonough, Gilroy, and Stone, not in order. They're the 4. I do like. I like Taylor Harris as well. I would have, because she's a bit of a pod still against Freo. And then Anderson would be my other pod against Port, just with how good that matchup is. So they'd be the ones I'd be looking at.
Yeah, like looking at like I always try and pick like a mix of forwards, defenders, rucks, mids, and looking at the defenders, there weren't that many great matchups this week. So it's probably more just picking your solid players, I'd say, as opposed to trying to pick the matchup.
Yeah, forwards are very difficult this week. There's 12 players you could pick in your GameDay squad this week, that, or probably a little bit, even 15. But you've got to try and get it down to 7.
Mm-hmm. Now we'll jump into the squad reveals. This is my starter squad, just because we talked about at the start. The Classic Cup is running and we're both in it. So we don't want to give away too much, but this is maybe just a hint of my mindset going into the Classic team, because I tend to keep them pretty similar. But I'm trying to take as little risks as possible here. And I don't know if everyone can. We have the same issue every week where I forget to make it bigger, but I'll read it out to everyone. We've got Lucas Rod, Chaplin, Gay, Watson, Thomas, Kearney, and Goodwin. Again,
that's the exact same defense as me. So I feel like, hang on, we got the same midfield, we got the same rucks.
Oh no!
I think we got one forward different. We got one player different this week, I reckon.
Oh my gosh, that's huge. So this is what I'm going for. Because I've got enough points ahead at the top of the starter competition overall table. I've got to make people try and beat me, I guess, is what I'm thinking now. Like, I don't need to take the risks anymore. I'm ahead. I've got, like, it's coming to the end. I need people to start trying to make risks behind me. And then hopefully they slip up. So I'm going safe as I can. And it's good to hear that you've kind of probably picked a similar side. Midfield, got your 5 locks every week. And then I've gone Roberts as the 6th. If we hear any different, it probably will swap into Conti. But for now, Roberts is looking pretty set. Forwards, again, try to stick as low controversy as possible. The only one in there at the moment is Woodland or Saint, who is not a lock in my side at the moment. It's just pending teams, laid outs, laid ins, that kind of stuff.
And you've got your forwards back to front average. Goldsworthy is the number 1 averaging forward on your bench, and Courtney Hott is your lowest averaging forward, but on as your number 1. So it's interesting.
Yeah.
That's maybe to psych people out. You're going, oh, Goldsworthy's on the bench. Not keen on her this week.
Yep. No, but that's it. Now, I haven't got yours on the slide, but it sounds like it's going to be pretty easy to tell people what it is.
I was going to screen share it, right? I've got it here ready to go. There's no point, because it's the same team. Yeah, it's the same team. The only difference is I've got Aileen Gilroy currently there over Ash Saint. That's it. Mm-hmm. Only difference. I've spoken about Conti could come in for Ella Roberts if we get sort of wind of maybe a potential run with role from someone. But if Chelsea Randall's not playing, I just don't know who does it. So Roberts will be there for me. Defense is the same as well, and forwards is the same as well. So it's there you go. It's probably going to be easy to know what we're going to be doing. So I'm concerned that we've gone not concerned that you've gone the same or I've gone the same. Whatever, we've gone the same. It's more concerned that that's the template. People are going to use it against us, and they're going to try and beat us, because people are because we don't get to see our opponent's team, whereas they've got the ability to see our team, which is, I guess, it's the part and parcel of doing a pod and doing a stream every Wednesday night. But
I guess, or is this my actual side? Who knows?
Yeah,
that is. I don't know. But well, that
and
basically.
Wardlaw was the one I was looking at.
Yeah, so Wardlaw is probably going to come in for Woodland or Saint if there's no guarantee that they are the only forward or the only forward option, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
So that's why they're in at the moment, but who knows? All right, and that's not actually your side.
Oh no, that's hang on. That is hang on. What is that side? Is that the one from last week?
No, I think it might have been my side from last week, and then I've just done this.
Okay.
Because I was because I had Harrington and Ruck is probably what you noticed, was it?
Put it back then. Put it back. That's my side. That's my side. That's what I'm doing. I'm playing Harrington the right this week. I should have seen the slides beforehand and said that's my side, because there's a couple of people there that I wouldn't have this week with matchups. So yeah, that's my side. Follow that one.
Yeah, and it's important to note that we do not talk about our sides before we kind of do it. In fact, we basically build them probably not too.
I feel like we deliberately try to do that, because we feel like we deliberately try to do it because we want to make our squads first and then chat about it, and then we may change it.
Yeah, 100%. And I often do change it based on what we talk about. So
spin the wheel.
Yeah, let's spin the wheel. That's why everyone is here. So I'll get the wheel up first. So instead of giving away codes, I've just gone ahead and bought a couple of packs. How do you want to do it? Do you want to do one row you, one row me?
Yeah, we'll do the same as what we did. We do the same as what we did last week, I think. And as we said, if the other three players aren't as good, we'll give the other three to the listener, and they can put it in exchange or something like that.
Or maybe we'll pick the rows after it's drawn. Hey, so we'll reveal the pack and then you pick the row you want to give away. Or do you like the suspense of gambling?
I feel like the. I guess what do people want to see? I guess it's what people want to see more moving forward. I know that the Fantasy Bros do like if they open a 3-player pack, they'll go like the left player will be for like Stu or Dill will pick like, oh, this will be a player for them to keep this player, me to keep this player will list on the market. Like, it's up to you if you want to if people want to do like a row and whatever, or if people just want to go 9 players, you pick the players to give to listener, pick the players to. I feel like if you pick the players, you give the listeners more better cards, because if they get screwed up, they might go. Oh, so
let's just do that, because I feel like we're pretty set anyway for cards. We've been playing this a long time, so we'll just give away the 3 best cards, and then we'll divvy up the rest between us. So we've got 2 packs. We'll spin the wheel. We've got a few people on there today. Let's go. First pack is going to be going to, or first 3 players from the pack is going to be going.
Oh, there's no sound. There's no sound on the spin.
Oh, no.
Why here on the sound spin? There you go, George again. Back to back weeks, I reckon.
Getting free stuff. It's great. And all you have to do is show up to be here, to be on the wheel. So good on you. So George, first pack.
Is it on mute, or is it just it's not putting up the?
It might be the sharing. I'll do it just because I know how much you love the sound.
No, it doesn't matter. I'm not sure if people like hearing the spin.
Oh, here we go. I think I did have it muted, so we'll. This one's.
There we go. There it is.
There we go. Funny thing is, when I do that, it now becomes muted for me, and you guys get to hear it. So, Anthony
just gets it. I wasn't sure if that was going to go to Ganners or not. That was.
It was basically on the line.
I got to zoom. I can't zoom in on my screen, unfortunately. That must be very, very close. That's the closest I've seen it being to the line.
Yeah. Well, how about we just, because it was so close, we'll just give Anthony 3 cards out of the second pack, and then, well, if there's anything worth taking.
You mean Gannon?
No, actually, no. Sorry, Gannon. Actually, no, the integrity of the competition means that he didn't win, so he doesn't get anything this week and come back next week.
Okay, yeah. No, you're the controller of the wheel, so yep.
No. All right, let's rip the packs. Switch screen. Yes, good. We're not ripping out All-Star packs, so we don't necessarily need the sound. Because how have you been opening many All-Star packs?
Oh, I have before, and I know that I do have the sound, so it'd be good if we get the sound for the other packs. There. Oh, here we go.
Fix up. That's actually probably better.
Yeah.
So open the first.
Whose packs is George? First pack.
This is George, the first one.
I got the duty for this one again?
Yep, you have the duty. So the spinning obviously just means silvers and golds in common packs. So no legends here, unfortunately, but the next one might have some for Anthony. But gold, silver, probably doesn't matter too much what they are, given they're just silver and golds, hey?
If I open packs, I go the silvers first, go the gold second, Plats for diamonds, and then if
Yeah.
there's a legend in there, that's not how I go. But
Let's do that. Friend, not really scoring that well, but
you see, and
Sear, Milne,
no, there's nothing so far. Georgia Gold,
Hale,
Bell Doors.
we're down to golds. Oh, there you go.
Ooh, and McCarney. There
Kenny.
you go. That's a good one.
Clayton.
Clayton. Tessa
Maybe.
Levy.
Oh, there you go.
Ooh, Ash Riddell.
That is
Beautiful.
a very nice pack for like a common pack. 2 solid gold cards, wherein, like a classic comp, you probably are playing gold Kearney. You might even want more than that of a Riddell, but that's going to outscore most platinums, diamonds of any other midfielder. So,
right, well, I'm going to keep Carney and Riddell and getting up, Jay. No, I believe I've got 2 Carney golds and 2 Riddell golds. They're like 2 of the only players I've got multiple golds of. So I'll be a good man, and George, you can have the 9 players from the pack, mate.
All 9. Wow.
Yeah. I'd like just because Riddell and Carney, I've got some, and I probably would have given at least one of them to George. I wouldn't have wanted to take both, but we'll give George all of them.
No, sounds good. Well done, George. You already know where my DMs are from every other week you win, so just slide in there a little bit later.
Yep. And
And
here
then
we go.
the last pack for Anthony. I'm not sure if they've won anything yet.
I'm not sure. Oh, hopefully we can just see the better animation. Like, I know that the last pack was pretty solid, but no, unfortunate.
It's a shame, but still.
Never know. You might be able to get a Marinoff gold, and then all of a sudden it's made up for it.
Bragg.
Sector Pie could be someone that could be useful at some point.
Is she coming back this season, or is she done? Do you know?
I'm not sure. I know she was injured, but I'm not sure the extent of it.
Legacy competition doesn't matter too much because
Tessa Boyd has had a couple of decent scores.
Yeah.
Sarah Allen, probably more of a lockdown, but
Smith.
Anna Smith's not too bad.
Good player, but probably not selectable most weeks, but still an option.
Brazali. Kelly Skepper. Still got hopes for her that she'll be a good fantasy player at some point, but Elaine Grigg.
There you go.
There you go. So that's the back-to-back packs. The last card has been good. There you go. 2 of the best defenders we've packed in.
I think they're probably 2 of the best packs we've opened on any stream.
That shows how bad our pack on the stream. So
that's why I didn't want to open it on the stream, because I was like, oh no, people are going to see how bad we are.
Yeah.
But that's good. I'll screenshot that as well. We're just going to give it all away, do you reckon?
It's up to you. You're the one that opened that was your pack, so
everything's gone. Anthony, if you're still around, get in, jump over to Discord in the DMs, or get in touch with Bales if that's easier, and we'll sort you out.
Yep.
That does it for the episode. Pretty big one. Lots to talk about.
I thought it was probably our longest episode.
Yeah, I know. It just kept going. It was great.
Yep.
Is there any final pieces of advice you have for people? Maybe those still in the cup that aren't playing against us this week. Any pointers for them?
Well, the only pointer I've got is for who was I'm just trying to get there for Gracie's. Just not good luck to you this week. As I'm up against you. No, I'm joking. Good luck to Gracie's team in the cup. Hopefully, I can get the job done. But yeah, we'll see how it goes. But no, as always, Bales DT across the socials and AFL Fantasy Fans on X and Fantasy Fanatics on YouTube and everything. Enjoy the footy. Good luck this week, and enjoy watching the AFLW again without any. We do have one overlapping game, which I'm a bit disappointed there's no games tomorrow night, to be honest, on a Thursday night. I don't know why. It's a bit of a missed opportunity. It's not like there's anything really else that we're missing out on. So thought we could have had a game there, but interesting. But no, good luck, everyone, especially those in the cup as well. Should be good to see who's in the final 8. A couple of weeks to go with that.
And yeah, as always, jump over to the Instagram, GameDay_society. We're actually running a football comp, like Game Day Squad football comp, so English football, just for the international break. So we've got something to do over there. All the rules are over there. We've got some good packs to give away. Jump on X as well, the GD Society, annoyingly, and YouTube as well. If you can, give this a like and subscribe, and just because it makes a world of difference for algorithms and things like that. And if you enjoy it, let us know what you want to see each week, because we are very open to building the show around what people like, apart from more spinning wheels, because we do have a budget that we probably can't run over. But yeah, that does us. So thanks for watching. Good luck. Remember, Friday lockout, 6:15. Not sure what time zone that is. So,
I think it's 7:15 Eastern Daylight Time.
Okay, so I must have adjusted for Queensland on my screen. That's great. And going forward, I think this will probably be the time slot for the rest of the season, I'd say, just to kind of line up in the middle of all of the daylight savings changes. So yeah, we'll leave it there. Thanks, everyone.